Good morning. It's time for daily game design. This Tuesday morning. I took a couple of days off. The main intention was that I have a lot of grading, so I wanted to focus my something like my prime hours on getting that grading done. And I still have a lot of grading to do, but I realized I will make it happen, and I can still use an hour just to make sure that I'm making progress on other things too. Anyway, so Sunday, Monday, took a break, worked on other things. The final exam for my online classes, that is happening starting soon. Students have the next 24 hours to start the exam, then they'll have a couple of hours to complete it. So I am expecting that I need to be like watching my email and stuff like that too. But anyway, I've had a few interesting days. So last I streamed, it would have been Friday. Yep, it was Friday. Friday afternoon, I headed up to Camp Waianae, and I stopped, had lunch with a friend, and then we had an evening planned. This is one of those nice ideas where somebody just has the intention of getting people together for a nice time, with full awareness that people are busy and it's difficult to get people together, and people want to know that something cool is happening before they really commit to joining and all that kind of stuff, right? So I love that this person just committed to the idea, put it on the calendar, just wanted to see people show up, or if people showed up, they'd be fine. If not, they would also be fine. So Addie, very cool young woman, she, I forget who came up with it, but I think it might have been her and Aaron. And so the two of them hosted. We were up at the same camp where we do the retreats, and already a Twitch bot. So same camp, and so it's beautiful up there. The idea was that we would that we'd have dinner and then a bonfire and watch a movie. Sounds very sweet, and that's exactly what happened. Actually, I have a few. My friend that I had lunch with admonished me to take a break. She saw that I was dealing with some stress, and she said, well, why don't you go to the beach for a little while? And I thought, I like pretty much never do that. So anyway, spent a little time walking around the beach, Pokai Bay, down at the water in Waianae. And did I mention, I don't know if I talked about Deep Sea Endeavor. I hope I did. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, my Friday stream. I'm pretty sure that quickly lined up to be one of my favorite games. And I did well in the game. I don't think that's the only reason. I think I probably cheated a little bit at the start. But I very, very much enjoyed that design. Anyway, here are a few photos of the camp around sunset. So we made our dinner. We assembled a little haystack dinner. For anybody who doesn't know what a haystack is, basically a taco salad. This is a traditional, somehow it became a traditional Adventist thing. So we had nice dinner in the fancy tiny homes. Addie's staying in one of the two fancy tiny homes up at the camp. we're having a nice dinner. And then we have Aaron lighting the fire. He said that he shreds paper until he gets a giant bag of paper, and then he likes to have a bonfire. So I think that was part of the genesis of this idea, is he wanted to burn his stuff. Did a little time lapse for a little bit. Why not? Still loading. Anyway, very nice people. Nice, pleasant time. Just everybody enjoying good company. And then we did watch a movie I was not aware of. Actually, this was Journey to Bethlehem, a very cute live-action musical. So that was cool. Didn't get any games in, no problem. But Sunday was just Saturday. This was Friday night, so Saturday I headed back into town. There was a little craft fair. I decided to stop in at Armchair and found that Dean and a few other people were there. We ended up playing Tag Team. Tag Team, I won't show it, but Tag Team is it's a one-on-one dueling game and a card game battler kind of a thing. And I thought the hook was pretty interesting. In the game, you have a couple of cards face down. These are 2 character cards. You have 2 characters that you're managing. Your goal is to knock the health of one of those characters of your opponent down to 0. And so the hook is something like you'll have these 2 cards to start with. You reveal them. And then from that time on, those cards are in that same order. They're going to be in the same order. But then what you do is you draw 3 cards off your deck. These are 2 characters that get shuffled together. Draw 3 cards and place one somewhere in the stack of those 2 cards. That's the first. Then you flip them over, you reveal, and then you affect each other. You're both doing this at the same time. So then I guess I could show Tag Team probably. I mean, not probably. I could. So you're doing damage, or you're blocking, or you're doing some crazy special effect. And the components are nice. The artwork is good. And each character functions differently, as you can imagine. So you keep adding cards to the stack until somebody's character, one of their 2 characters, at least one of their 2 characters gets knocked down to 0 health. So you can imagine it's a lot of, you did this to me last time. I'm going to try to remember where that card was, or at what point in the deck that certain thing happened, and then I'm going to try to offset it by 1 and add this card. It's kind of too technical for me, honestly, like that kind of the guessing what you're guessing, I'm guessing kind of stuff. Like that type of game always feels a little out of reach to me. But I'm sure with repeat plays, I mean, it was a cool game. It was a cool time. But I'm sure with more experience, things would come together a little better for me. Anyway, it was just good to spend time with Dean, and then T came over, and we played Magic. I got just smashed. My new deck, my Y'shtola deck. Why does BGG need me? Okay. So it just got absolutely demolished by these guys. So I don't know if that deck is really, I don't know what it could hold up against, but it was definitely not those 2 guys. So anyway, There was another cool thing going on at Armchair. So I did just hang out with the boys in the back. It was like Mason Munson for a while. We just chatted and but there was a kind of a celebration of life in a way for this guy George who passed away. He used to be around Armchair. I'd seen him. I don't think I'd ever really talked to him. Oh, we got one response. Okay. Okay, this is a good start. I wanted to, as part of this hour, I wanted to check to see if there's any feedback from the Adra HQ crew over there, the people trying out the game. And there is feedback, so I'm excited to see that. And it looks like we need some rules clarification. Okay, so there was this. I think Saturdays is like a war. Maybe they were like War Gamers reserve tables. And so this guy Glenn, who used to own Armchair, he's still around. Very cool guy, very fun to talk to. He had set up some like Rescue Santa game, so he had all of these like Christmas village models, you know, like the pre-painted elf, like North Pole type, like cute buildings that you would put the fluffy snow around and you'd light up with little lights and stuff. So he had all that laid out and apparently had some challenge going on. So it was kind of cool to see that. I don't know how it was supposed to, but there were tanks and soldiers and they were doing something with snowmen and I wasn't exactly sure. But kind of cool that there are people working on, you know, offering those kinds of cool experiences to other people, which is awesome. What happened Saturday night? I don't really... I think from Armchair I just went home, watched a movie, played some games with my buddy Daniel online. Did some grading. Yes, I did some grading. You know what I just remembered though is I've been playing Dead Cells with Daniel, and Dead Cells really started clicking for me when we played Saturday night. This really cool just a really cool cooperative dungeon crawl kind of thing that there is randomness in the cards you draw, but like you basically know what the enemies are all going to do, and there's a step-by-step 3-phase or 3-round battle every time you encounter like zombies and other weird stuff in the dungeon. And I just think it's a really cool low randomness kind of a thing. There's lots of upgrades, there are lots of decisions to make, like who you play, what upgrades you take, what direction you go in the dungeon, and starting to understand more of it, and it's just really well done. Dead Cells. Also, I guess it's a video game, and I've never played that. Oh, one thing, I don't remember if I showed on stream. Let me see when I sent that email. I sent an email to Paul with my... I think I may have showed it on stream. Let me just double check. I've been playing more games online as well. December 11th. So I did. I think I actually showed that video. Yeah, still waiting to hear back from Paul. I can't imagine they'll pick up the game, but at least it was good to get the video done. Sugar Shack. Okay. Sunday, I chose to focus on grading. Got quite a bit done. Did watch the Bills game. The Bills have man, they've been dealing with some. They have this like kind of second half style that is not super exciting because they were down. I think it was 24-7. They were down 7-24 at the end of the first half, and then they came back to win 35-31, I think. That kind of stuff is crazy. So went to a very nice Christmas program with my Hanai family on Sunday evening. Really nice production at First Assembly of God Red Hill. Really, really well done. Yesterday was, our typical Monday night was, we were on track for that, and then I got a call from Eric, the president of the conference here, the regional church. For people who don't know, conference is, it's like the organizing body for the SDA churches and throughout Hawaii. Got a call saying, "Yeah, we're doing a Christmas program. Is there any way you can relocate?" And I don't like doing that. I really don't like breaking the pattern. I feel like it's really good to just stay consistent and do what we're doing. But in the end, it was just like supposed to be an office staff thing, and it was just a lot easier to they just prefer to have the space of themselves, that we weren't coming in and out and all that kind of stuff. And anyway, it's very unusual that things get scheduled at that same time. So I talked to the pastor of Central Church, which is just 2 minutes from the conference office, so it's not a huge problem. And we moved down to this space. Not my favorite thing to bring a bunch of games down. And I laid out, I don't know, probably 30 games or so, and of course people brought some of their own stuff, and it was great because this family, and these three are a family, and then their friend, they came for the first time, and we met at TTOCon. Anyway, super fun, super little energetic little group. We got through a rules teach of Marvel United. They played, I think, 3 times in a row and won on the 3rd time. I had to look on BGG because it seemed like, wow, it was really hard. But it just turns out that the character, well, maybe it's all of them, but the player count is a real issue. Maybe it was just with the character, the villain that they were playing against in Marvel United, but they had a really good time with it. And then we played QE in that group. Trevor, who is a guy that I'm in an online playtesting group with, this guy, coming from Canada here for, he's here for like a family vacation, but he came a little later in the evening. Very cool guy. We've playtested once or twice together. It's just really fun to see people in real life after interacting with them online. I don't know how I was taking photos, these random photos, but you can see it's actually a nice space. It's a little weird because it's kind of, there's like a hole in the ceiling, and so it's a little moldy somewhere, and so the smell is a touch funky. And anyway, we had great people, bunch of good games out on the tables. So we played QE. The group had a really good time with QE. Dave is, I don't know. Dave is an interesting guy. I think like me, he's just kind of like trying to get his head around how some of these games work and kind of taking it a little seriously. Like wants to do well and that kind of thing. But I mean, it's just good to stay lighthearted, especially with something like QE. And then they closed the night out with Space Base, and Trevor taught Space Base. So it worked out. It's not my favorite thing. I think I got home close to midnight because they played until about 10:30, and then we packed up. Oh, I talked for a while with Trevor, so that was good. And then packed up. I took stuff back up to the conference office, and then got home 11:30, 11:45, something like that actually. But always good to see these people. Great to see Castles of Burgundy out on the table. They've had Clank Catacombs. They played a couple other party games and some other stuff over here. Anyway, Doug. Doug was the game designer that worked on video games. And it was cool to have him. I completely forgot he was coming. And in fact, I should text him. Because we relocated, and I tried to text everybody I could think of, and I just forgot he was coming, and so they caught him at the door, and thankfully it's only 2 minutes. 2 minutes away, so he figured it out. All right. Yeah, let me look at this feedback, see if I can update the rule book. So I might not actually get to Sugar Shack now that I'm thinking of it. So I'm going to look at what I've got here in this document, and I recognized that there's a lot of text here at the start of the game. So maybe I really need to rework that. Okay, so let's look. Okay, 35 to 44. Intermediate experience. Enjoyable game was a 3. Okay, how would you rate the difficulty? A 5. Okay, for the game start, it says each player shuffles their character deck and draws a starting hand of 4 cards. It's not clear if these should be face up on the table or held in their hands so that other players cannot see. We were playing them in our hands, but this should be clarified. Okay. Draw. Okay, yeah. Interesting. I can talk about, you know what I can do is, you know what, Liz, you got a point. You really do. And let me add a little note here. Note. Communication. I'm gonna make this a heading 3. You are encouraged to talk about what you have what's going on? Well, welcome to the chat. So right now I'm working on a card game for a humanitarian nonprofit, and they're playtesting the game this week, and I'm starting to get some feedback, especially about the clarity of the rules. So, yeah. It's certainly not a full-time thing, but that is my hope, is that at some point I'll be able to work on games full-time. So, yeah, this is it's a little cooperative card game. How about you? What, are you, busy in the hobby? Do you have a little game collection? Do you play some stuff regularly? What sort of games are you interested in? Sorry if the connection is bad. The weather has been a little bit weird, and the weather here on Oahu sometimes affects my connection. Okay, I was working on this little section about communication. Yeah, it looks a little bit kind of stuttery. What do you mean? What is this? I don't know if I'm understanding your little question there. You may discuss what's a good way to put this? Though this is a cooperative game, your communication is limited. First of all, you may discuss which mission cards you can help with. But you may not show other players your cards, your hand of cards, or all right, well, thanks for jumping in for a little bit. Yeah, you're always welcome. I stream every day except for Saturday, and when I'm grading, as in the last 2 days. But I'm always working on something. Have a great day. Okay, so though this is a cooperative game, your communication is limited. First of all, you may discuss which mission cards you can help with, but you may not show other players your hand of cards. You may not refer to specific to specific resource symbols on your cards. Is that enough? I wonder if that's enough of a limitation on communication. Anyway, this was this does clarify things with this feedback in mind. Okay, so it's not clear if this should be face up on the table or held in your hand. To be honest, I don't have very specific hobbies. I'm a graphic designer. I enjoy creative work and recreation, so yeah. Do you have a portfolio? There's always a chance of needing help with graphic design. You never know. Okay, you may discuss which mission cards you can help with, but you may not show other players your hand of cards or refer to specific resource symbols on your cards. Hopefully that would be like enough, right? Yeah, let's see it. Yeah, that's fine. Instagram is totally fine. It can be keyboard top games. I have two. Note, communication. Okay, let's see if that addresses their ideas. Okay, also, for the turn actions, it wasn't super clear to us if people could play 2 cards during one turn, so maybe clarify that a bit, and then immediately after, say that you can pick up any replacement cards, because... Okay. Yeah, let me check the print and play files, because I think this person might be completely right that this was a mistake. Let me see. I think they were toward the end. They are all 5 cards. Yeah, I'll fix that. At least I think all of them are 5. I should actually care about that detail. Because there should be 6 total, I think. Ah, the event, the refocus only costs 4. Sophia, you can see that my graphic design is not a strength here. I make very functional stuff, but not very pretty stuff. Yeah, so this is the prototype that I had the organization print out for their people. Okay, so that was a good catch. What else was it? Also for their turn, it wasn't super clear. Followed you, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, I saw that. Thanks for doing that. What do you stream, if anything? Is this all you with the pixel art? Oh no, it was just pixelated because I'm not too sure why. Is this all your artwork here? CGI VFX programming. Wow. Logo for one of my best new clients. Cool. Oh, you do emotes? Nice. Yeah, that's cool. Is it I mean, do you get a fair amount of business? Call me back. Yeah. Well, of course. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Also, the turn actions, it wasn't super clear to us if people could play 2 cards during one turn. So this is a tricky thing. So I know that the way I wrote it, it's kind of like a player they should be able to understand. That's the problem, right? In the rulebook is they should be able to understand that you can spend any 2 actions on your turn. So what I think I need to create here is an example turn. I think that's the main issue. Also, this needs to shift down, I guess. Oh, a book. Okay. Is that your, are you, is it all freelance work or do you work with some of the company somehow? Yeah, I think I probably need to add a second example, which I can definitely do. It's amazing. It's amazing, or it's just a good reminder how important it is, this step of testing rulebooks. Because my first game, I rushed this part of it, and I believe the rulebook is an obstacle for people to play the game. Yeah, let me build another example super quick. I was hoping to get to Sugar Shack, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Like 40 minutes. What's your main set of tools for graphic design? The reason my stuff is so ugly, apart from I'm not very good at graphic design, is I just use simple tools like Canva. Nothing fancy. Hey Francisco. Mainly works freelancer, try to do extra work for some savings. Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's good. Saving sounds nice. I don't have much of that. I think it was this. I probably should have printed player aids. That would have been helpful. Okay. Wait, so Sophia, I didn't see what you stream, if at all. Do you stream stuff? I don't spend a lot of time on Twitch, but yeah, I'm just using OBS, and OBS lets me multi-stream to Twitch and YouTube. I just learned that not super long ago, maybe a few months, but I don't do a ton on Twitch. Okay, let me figure out how to illustrate this example really quick. Okay, all I need to do is show... Okay, I think what I can do here... I'm going to bring this over to... Then I just need one more card with 2 green on it. Sophia, don't say stuff like that if it's not true. Play games on the weekends. Yeah, that's cool. So, Francisco, I have not worked on Sugar Shack yet. The reason is because I got some feedback on the rulebook from people trying out Azure HQ. Good luck to you too, Sophia. And so this has spun off into, yeah, working on some more examples. So rulebook clarification is what the day has become. So, Francisco, this is my first time meeting Sophia, also graphic designer, kind of interesting, or at least graphic design skills. My first time to see, she just followed my Cabletop Games Instagram. And it looks like she illustrates very nicely, actually. Okay, let's see. Okay, I just needed to show that a player can play, that they can play 2 cards on their turn. Sophia, you should look at Francisco's stuff. At least the one game I've seen most of, he has a fun, like, pixel art style. Okay, let's see. Example, let's make this example 2 because I think I actually would prefer, yeah, I prefer showing the 2 cards as the initial example. Because ideally it would be most common. Oops. Centered where? Whoa, what's happening? Because I probably agree with you. Where did this go? Why is this leaving like that? Okay. Yeah, I want this to be the... Okay, Docs does some weird stuff. Okay, I want this to move down. Oh, is it move? It's moving with the text, I think. What? Okay, there it is. So, for me, I don't do anything on GitHub, no. I'm not sure if, I wonder if you're thinking of like, I don't know, that GitHub I feel is a little more like, maybe if I was into like coding and stuff, right? Or if it was more, something more digital. Yeah, I'm all card games, board games, stuff like that. Yeah. Where are you from, Sophia? Is it first action? Actually, are these all first responder cards? Probably not. Actually, I should be I should be a little more careful about this. Yeah, what I just did doesn't work because it's not possible. Let me fix this. Oh, you know what? It actually does kind of work. Wait a minute. It does work. It does. That card does exist, and since I'm covering it with this one, the discontinuity doesn't matter a whole lot, so that's good. San Antonio, nice. I was just in Dallas for a gaming convention. I've also been to San Antonio several times. I live on Oahu. So if you're ever in Hawaii, you can let me know. Okay, so the first action, the first responder. First responder plays a card to the challenge card in the south position. The second action, the first responder plays a second card to the challenge card in the south position and the south position and completes, what do I call it? Maybe I should say mission card in this case. Mission card, mission card. Nice. The south position and completes the mission card. Okay, I think that will help a lot, actually. It's pretty crazy, like, so it's really interesting to me that this person reports that they have an intermediate gaming experience, or they are intermediate gamers, something like that. Their gaming experience is at an intermediate level. Well, when I read this, I feel like, I think my guess is that for most non-gamers, so I would put this person, my guess is this person is in a kind of non-gamer camp. Maybe they play games at home, probably mass market games. I feel like I know I'm judging here, but it'll be really interesting to try to process feedback. When I think intermediate, I would say somebody with intermediate gaming experience, especially assuming that most people yeah, I would, like, my sense of intermediate and their sense of intermediate are going to be super, super different. So I would think somebody with intermediate gaming experience is certainly a Catan player, probably an Azul player, Wingspan, they played Wingspan. So, like, I would say that person is intermediate at least. But somebody may never really report themselves as a beginner, even though if somebody who only plays mass market games, I would think of that person as a beginner, which might not be fair. Like, I actually don't know if this scale is useful, like self-reporting experience. So the rules were not clear, unfortunately. Okay, let's see if there's anything else to address here. So, Maybe I should describe this more. I can do a better job here too. You know what? I'm gonna move both examples down, and then I'm gonna use this space for I'm going to use this space to clarify a player on their turn clarification. I don't like, I feel like I don't know. I also don't know why this is moving with the text, except now I do, because it was fixed. I thought it was selected to have a fixed position on the page. Now it doesn't. So that's good. I wonder if okay, that one is moving with the text for sure. I'll make this move with the text now. Possible turns include play 2 cards. Let's you know what? Let's throw some bullets in here. Play 2 cards to the mission card in focus. There really are 3 types of playable turns. So play 1 card to the mission card and refocus HQ, or refocus HQ and refocus HQ and play 1 card to a mission, to the mission card in focus. To the mission card. Okay. Yeah, I think this is a lot better, actually. So again, it's always good, always great to get, always helpful to get feedback. Okay, so let me check this one more time. Okay, for the turn action, it was super clear. People could play 2 cards. Okay. This is an interesting thing. People want to pick up a replacement card right away. I need to think about that. I don't mind that. play one card. Play one card to the mission card in focus and pass. Refocus HQ. And pass. Okay, draw a card and pass. Play one card to the mission card in focus and pass. Refocus HQ and pass. I don't know where this should go now, actually. I think this works. Draw a card and pass. Play one card to the mission card in focus and pass. Refocus HQ and pass. Play two cards to the mission card in focus. Play one card to the mission card in focus and refocus HQ. Refocus HQ and play one card to the mission card in focus. Okay, hopefully that gets us where we need to go. Yeah, this really interesting impulse just to pick up a card. Well, this is a really interesting thing, Francisco. So like I'm trying to get as close as I can to a mass market game while making sure that it's still interesting. And the issue that I've noticed, and it actually happened when we play tested with the group, we play tested online. First of all, the group did not do super well with the interface that we used when we played. We used screentop.gg. And there is that impulse, if you play a card, pick up a card, like immediately. So I don't know why that's such a strong impulse, but it looks, in the feedback, it looks like this person also wanted to do that. So rather than having, like, focusing their minds on, I'm going to take my turn, at the end of my turn, I replenish my hand, it is, I play a card, I pick up a card. So there's no, they're not thinking, yeah, it's kind of hard for these two people. Yeah, for the two people I saw, it's unnatural to think the turn structure is right. Yeah, unstable unicorns. Right. I mean, I think it's I think it is common. I can't think of many games myself. I'm glad you can make a mini list here. So I think it is common to play a card and pick up a card. And I don't know the best way. Do we either accommodate that and just adjust to that type of expectation? I think the only thing about that, maybe I should look at their rule books, because I think it's awkward to structure a rule book like that. I mean, it's not obvious to me how I would structure the rule book. Sophia, I see you sent some more samples. Thanks for doing that. Let's see if... So, Exploding Kittens is... rulebook. Are you sure that it's whenever you play a card you replenish your hand? That's what I'm curious how they structured that. Taking your turn. Play. Play a card by placing it face up on top of the discard pile. Wait, what? Not necessarily playing a card. Now I'm going to make coffee. Smart. Okay, so the way they do it is play as many cards as you'd like, then draw a card to end your turn. So that is pretty clear. It's a little... Yeah, thanks, Sophia. See you soon. Let's see. End your turn. Oh, okay, here it is. So end your turn by drawing a card. Taking your turn. Gather all 5 of your cards into your hand and look at them. Do one of the following. Can you imagine putting look at your cards in the rulebook? So this guy like agonized over this rulebook. I forget, I don't know, he's talked about how many iterations they went through. Probably not the number, because I think it was like an insane number. But imagine having to say in your rulebook, this is the kind of, I don't at all want to be condescending, but this is the kind of detail and the kind of accommodation that we need to get used to. Why do I have to look at my cards? I play with the force. Exactly. So some people should be able to ignore that instruction. Most people, however, Francisco, will not be able to ignore that instruction. So this is for the average player. This rulebook is for the average player. That's important to keep in mind. So gather all 5 of your cards into your hand and look at them. This is important. So if this, because Exploding Kittens is the standard for a modern mass market game. No question, it is the standard. So I tend to assume I can look unless the rules say not to. Well, that's the thing. You're a gamer. You are not the audience for this game. The audience for this game is the pre-gamer, is the person who's never played such a card game before. So that is not necessarily our audience, but maybe it is, maybe it should be, because the feedback I'm getting from somebody who sees themselves as an intermediate gamer is on the level of look at your cards. It is, because this person, so what did I say? I said draw a hand of 4 cards. This person is saying, this person said, okay, for the game start, it says each player shuffles their character deck and draws a starting hand of 4 cards. Yes, it does. It's not clear if these should be face up on the table or held in your hand. You see that feedback? So that players cannot see. It says draw a starting hand of 4 cards, which in our view, I assume, Francisco, is that you have a hand of cards that you're looking at and other people are not. does not an intermediate gamer make? I appreciated that you attempted some punctuation in there too, Francisco. But you see, that is the kind of person we are adapting these rules for. It's the kind of person who reads, draw a hand of cards, and isn't sure what that means. So I really need to do some extra work here. Yeah. That's pretty incredible, right? And someone who rated themselves as an intermediate gamer. So I'm not at all being down on this person. I think their feedback is incredible. The lesson here though is try to wear this hat, put this person's mind and their level of experience and their self-perception at the forefront, at the center of the target. Yeah, do you have a question asking what are your favorite games to play? Not in the feedback form. That would be interesting. That actually might be worth it. I like that idea. I like that idea. So instead of gaming experience, name 2 to 3 favorite of your favorite games. Done, Francisco. Done. That's perfect. That's perfect. Nice job on that. Because notice this, I don't know if you saw all this feedback, Francisco, but they, should I keep saying your name? Okay, how would you rate the difficulty of the game? This player rated it out of 5. 5 out of 5 difficulty. So that is a rulebook problem. That is a serious rulebook problem. But I don't know if I should keep saying your name every other sentence, because you're obviously engaged, paying attention. All right, so okay, let's look at it. Players 35 to 44 range. Intermediate level of gaming. How enjoyable was the game? It's a 3. Too bad. How would you rate the difficulty of the game? It's a 5. The rules were clear and easy to understand. That's a 2. I'll go through, I think you just heard most of this. So it's not clear. Okay. Also, for the turn actions, it wasn't super clear to us if you could play 2 cards during one turn. So maybe clarify that a bit, and then immediately after you say that you pick up any replacement cards. Wait. Could play 2 cards during one turn, so maybe clarify that a bit. And then immediately after say that you can pick up any replacement cards, because that's not until the next page in the instructions. So that was a bit confusing. No worries, Scott. Doesn't bother me, Scott, but thank you for asking. But thank you, Scott, for asking. Thank you for that repetition. Okay, so that was a bit confusing. Like, so how do you write a rule book so that they can play without reading the whole rule book? That's what it sounds like that happened. So they're starting to play, they're taking their turns, and then they don't read the whole section on how to take your turn, so that it's not clear to them when to draw cards. Like, that's interesting, right? Okay. And then okay, what aspect of the game did you like the least? Very difficult and unclear instructions. Complicated setup. Sorting into 10 piles to start play. I guess that's true. Yeah, complicated setup. You know what? I'm thinking to remove... So I think the person is looking at this image here, and they see 10 things. Is that right? No, it's only 9 things. You know what? I'm thinking to remove. I just want to remove the event cards. I want to remove the event cards. After this tiny bit of feedback, the person's right that setup is complicated. It's only complicated because it's only complicated. I think what makes it most complicated is the event cards. That adds a whole bunch of instructions. Like this whole section is gone if there are no event cards. Also, what else is gone? This section is gone. So what I think I can do is actually write a super simple version of the rule book that is just about yeah, there's so there's an advanced version that includes the event cards. I think that's what I'll do. So I'm basically gonna have 2 versions of the rule book: the regular game and then the advanced game. Even though, anyway, the event cards were meant to solve a certain problem, and I'm not sure that that problem is worth solving right now. As opposed to how complicated it feels that you have to go through all this setup. Because I can imagine the group sitting with that rule book and saying, what? Now we have to do this, and now we have to do this, and we also have to do this, and then we have to do this and this. And these 3 more things? Why is there so much going on? When I think once you've played it once or twice, it probably wouldn't feel that much. But certainly, like in the initial reading, this looks like a lot. But okay, I was glad to stream again this morning. I took a break the last 2 days to focus on grading. I need to transition to grading. Never got to Sugar Shack, which is unfortunate. But I think I need to do a very close, a close investigation. I need to do a close investigation of that game and figure out what's keeping it from working. What's keeping it from being smooth and for turns to feel pretty intuitive, not what's that? Not fiddly. That's a big problem. And there's like multiple steps, and then figuring out how the weeks work and all that. Cumbersome, yeah. So I think it needs a different type of streamlining than I've tried before, because I think the town works. I think updating the Sugar Shack process is pretty good, but there's something about, I think it's round structure that's not working right. Anyway, I'll have to come back to that. So yeah, that's a set of problems for another day. This takes priority. ADRA HQ certainly is the priority here. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Francisco, hope you're doing well. Hope you have a great day. And I will see you soon.